Woof, woof, woof. UFC 261. I think that was one of the most iconic UFCs we've seen in a long time. I got
Crazy.
Electric Eve on today. I got Scotty Dividends on today, and we're gonna break down that card. First and foremost, shout out to everyone
Amazing.
that watched our last video because Scotty Dividends really put you on. He hit you with a bonus
Word.
bet there. It was the Nixon the under, and it
Facts.
was the under in the Usman
And the,
versus Masvidal fight for a little bit of fun, a little bit of money.
hope you put $1 million on that.
It went 4 for 5 on that card. It's definitely good job, and we're definitely excited to have you on for this recap. And Dave, as we
Good
know,
looks, y'all.
consistently been hitting us off with some winners, hitting us off with some knowledge on some of these other fights as we've gone through all these different UFC battles. And I'm excited to talk about this fight because I think
You don't
Masvidal versus
sound excited,
Usman.
Taco. I don't know. I was excited. This
Man,
was a
Nah,
crazy
he sounds
card,
intrigued, yo. He
man,
sounds,
yeah,
bro.
I think I think the biggest question that I have coming out of that is, was that expected? Because I don't think a lot of people expect that. I think we were talking earlier, Dave, and Usman isn't really the knockout guy that you were thinking he might have been, that, or at least that he looked like yesterday. And let's hear a little bit about your thoughts on how Usman showed out yesterday.
I mean, here's the thing. Here's the thing. We talked about this a few times. I was talking to Ronnie, my little brother. And one of the things we were talking about was like, yo, listen, Usman has knocked out his last two opponents, really. So obviously outside of Masvidal, so 2 out of 3, really. So he showed that he does have a consistent jab that really leads up to being able to connect with that right hook. So he's got power. So he's displayed that
yeah.
power too. So I don't know. I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna sit back and say that I wasn't. I was definitely surprised at how strong that right hand came. But I think that what Chaos Kobe was saying, that he was setting up that takedown. When you look at that takedown, that looks like it's nothing. It really confuses you, and you think you want to defend the takedown. And he really was setting up that faking the takedown, and really caught him with that right hook when he was essentially faking the takedown. So I thought, yeah, man, I was surprised at how quick the knockout happened. But man, it was a beautiful, beautiful thing. Is all I'm gonna say.
Yep. And Scotty, you were talking about, as a Masvidal fan, you were like, Masvidal doesn't look as confident as he normally does. He doesn't have that arrogance that he normally carries when he gets into the ring.
Big
So
facts.
how do you think he did it, and what do you see as his biggest problem in that fight, you think?
So, like I said, man, I always see every UFC fight two ways: as a bettor's perspective and as a fan's perspective. As a bettor's perspective, I already saw I'm not touching it. I'm not taking Masvidal. There is a chance that he could win, but I know that this isn't going the distance. That's why I wanted to do that. But as a fan, seeing that, it kind of hurt, man, because you know what I'm saying. Like Masvidal hasn't been knocked out in basically his whole career, so for that to happen to him, like everybody over there, it was really bad. So, um, it was just tough to watch for me. But I mean, Usman, I gotta give him props. He is the true champ, and he displayed it there. He took on a man that nobody else yet was able to do what he did.
And I got a little
And I think,
little
listen,
something for
what I'm
that.
gonna say is that,
Hold on one
if
second.
you drop the clip, I'll watch the clip.
One second.
Oh,
One second. We'll just play this bad boy for everyone.
the music. Damn.
Slept. Yo.
Damn, man. I hate to see it. I hate to see it. I hate to see it.
I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry.
Yo, I love the Rogan.
Rogan is my hero.
Bro, that is priceless.
Yo,
Yo. Like,
that's
I think
honestly
that's the perfect reaction.
Oh my goodness.
It is.
But
Nah, man,
you
I
know,
thought that was.
it was expected. It wasn't shocked. I was shocked at the way he got knocked out, but it wasn't the result of the fight. I wasn't shocked by that.
Yeah,
It was just
I agree. I think a lot of people
what a
thought
knockout.
he would win. Yeah, I think a lot of people thought he would win by decision. Because He hasn't shown too much of like crazy come out and knockout power, but I think he sets up everything beautifully. I think like you said, Ngannou in his corner. Maybe some of his striking has gotten better and better. That jab. Last time they were talking about how his jab made him a champion. And I agree. Some of those, man, that jab leads up to so much and opens the door so much. But when you mix the wrestling into that at the same time, like you're scared of that jab coming, then the wrestling, I mean, it leaves the door wide open for that, right?
Well,
I thought it was impressive.
I think one thing about Usman that I think we've been learning over these last couple of fights, and I think we really learned it a lot in that Gilbert Burns fight, is that he switched his training camp and he switched who he's learning from. Because he wanted to really focus on getting better at striking. And then in that Gilbert Burns fight, Gilbert Burns thought that he had seen what Usman can do. He thought he'd be able to neutralize him. We came in thinking, hey, Gilbert Burns might be able to knock him out and take him down and flex that power. And I think what Usman's really done is he's really developed himself into a better striker because, like you said, he came in not being known for his power. And like in this last fight, it looked like he was looking for the knockout. He wasn't going in there because in the beginning of the first, he was loading up and he was taking some shots and he missed them. And he even said it. I missed some of these shots, but he came in looking to knock him out. He came in looking to throw a nice right overhand to the face and connect and make him go night-night. And I think that when we look at this from Usman, I'm really interested to see how he brings this with him to face Colby, because that looks like what it's going to be the next fight. He already took Colby down, but with this increased striking, I want to see how this matches up. And I want to see what Colby did, because Colby also is someone that's a hard worker and he understands where his weaknesses are. And I think that Colby's going to have some added things to his plate when he comes to face Usman. I think he's going to be a little better on the ground. And I think that it could be interesting to see what Colby does, because I'm not saying Colby's going to win, but I expect Colby to add some new wrinkles to his game plan from the last time they fought.
Here's what I'm gonna say to that too. If I can add that I really think that one of the things that I really like about what Usman's been doing is that as a champion, he's been busy. Tyron wasn't busy, right? We talked about that last time. Tyron as a champion was kind of dodging people, or at least it felt that way. All of a sudden you have a shoulder injury. All of a sudden your thumb is fucked up. I mean, excuse my language, but I'm just saying, like, you can't be going in there into these fights and as a champion and not taking what's next up. So he's been a company man. He's really basically taken, hey, whoever you throw in front of me, I'm gonna fight. He's been the most busy fighter in his division when it comes down to who he's facing as a champ. So what I like that he's been saying is not to really dodge chaos, Kobe, is show me something. I want to see Kobe, maybe even if you're talking all this trash about street Judas, go out there and maybe beat him then. You want to talk, he's just the guy that just faced Usman, then why? Like, you can't just keep sitting around waiting for 11 months to fight. Yes, you beat Tyron. You know what I'm saying? Like, go out there and win another fight before you just get the title. You can't just wait for him to call out your name. You need to go out there and show him something, because he's a champ. He can't be busier than you. So that's just my thought on that, though.
Well,
what do you think? What do you think? Yeah, all day. Like, you know?
I think my favorite though was what McGregor was saying, is like how Usman was copying him on everything and how Usman is trying to play up like him. But I do like how Usman is. Well, I mean let's face it, Conor McGregor probably is one of the top 3 guys in the sport as far as drawing in attention and selling those pay-per-views. So this is something where this is it draws attention.
Yeah,
So at the end of the day, I think that what Usman is doing is he's learning in everything, because now his trash talk is starting to come up, his ability to like want it, like, and I'm really looking forward to see how high his stock rises.
Star,
I think that's the final question that I have is like, where do you see Usman right now in those rankings as like all-time greats? Because I think now he's probably the pound-for-pound best fighter in UFC. I don't think we can debate that. No one's been active like him and winning like him. Yeah, pound for pound, number one. Yeah. I mean, Jones hasn't been active in about a year.
No, I got you. No, I got you. Yeah,
because that's why I would say he's probably number 1. And where do we rank him all time? Because he's passing George. He's starting to take George St. Pierre records, and he's starting to get up there. I mean, I don't think he's quite there yet, but how much?
Let me ask you this question, because Taco just addresses the pound for pound. I'm really curious as your thought. When do we start talking about, though, a woman being a pound for pound number one? Because if we're talking about both of them in both divisions, right? Like across every division, Valentina has been a dominant champion. We were talking about this earlier. So, like, she has smashed everybody that has come in front of her. And yes, she hasn't beat Amanda. Go back and watch those fights. I think she did. But what do you think on that element? Maybe that changes up your question, Taco. We can kind of lean back on.
I mean, then you can't say anyone's
I
better
can answer
than
both of them. I kind of want to answer both because
yeah.
I think I have something to say about the Usman thing. I think I'm not knocking Usman. I think he is one of the best, but I don't think that division is as stacked as other divisions. I think they need some new fire challengers. I think they just need some new superstars in that division. I think that division is pretty boring. And I love Jorge Masvidal, but who's really? I think Chimaev will be dope for Usman. I think that's probably the only person right now. But we need some new blood in that division.
I agree, bro.
Because I don't think Usman is unbreakable, and I don't think he's goated yet. I'm not saying he's not top 5.
I like that,
but he's not Khabib. He's not Khabib. He's not George St. Pierre. Yeah, he might break a couple, but he's not up to that level yet. And I think that it's just a little too early. I still need to see a little bit more.
I think a better question is how far off is he now? Because now he's starting to lap the competition.
Not that far off.
He's already beaten the competition. Now he's coming back around.
No, but
we need to see someone new.
GOAT, two different things.
We're not talking about GOAT. I'm not saying GOAT.
Maybe pound for pound. Maybe pound for pound. Right now,
he's the best.
Yeah.
Pound for pound, we can't say anyone's better. Maybe the only other one is Nunes, because I mean the way she's dominated. Like you said, if we bring the women into it, she's probably the only one. Because Shevchenko can't mess Nunes up, so we can't put her there. Like she will not.
See, you can't just drop that.
Didn't she already lose the Nunes?
Yeah. Wait.
Pump the brakes on that.
She's not messing with Nunes,
bro.
I like how you do that though.
Yeah, you just drop that real quick, like nah.
Is she?
You need to pump
because I was gonna get to that part. I was gonna say
let him
that I think that before Amanda Nunes is goated, but before I can say anything, I need to see them two fight, yo, because I think that Shevchenko, the way that she fights is so elite. It's just like yo, and then the way that she came into the fight, she talked that shit and like. Oh, she thinks she can hit hard. All right, cool. She can't. Exactly. And then she went in there and just like she didn't even break a sweat. And it was just like the true showing of a champion. And I fucking loved it. And I want to see two champions fight. I want to see what that looks like. Two women fighters that I know are elite fighters. That fight I need to watch. I need to see who wins because I don't know.
And I think
we'll bet on that. And I'm gonna tell you right now that for me, that is the fight Dana needs to go out there and make, because this is when we're talking about like how can a sport not really, one of the women fighters really showcase and stand out, right? Like these two women have showed that they are the dominant players in their division, and not only just that they go out there and like cheeky, my bad, Dividend said, they walk out there and they talk the talk and walk the walk. Like she went out there and said in her pre-fight interview and said, "Hey, I want to keep my strap." And they were asking her, "Oh, but when do you start the conversation about stepping up and fighting Amanda again?" She goes, "Hey, let Amanda come in. Let's fight." Amanda doesn't want to lose her belt though, because Amanda has said she doesn't want to fight me. So I'm all about defending my strap as many times as you put the number one fighter in front of me. But I'll fight Amanda. So she basically is saying, come bring it. Amanda has said, no, I'm not interested. There's reasons to that. Amanda knows that the only one that really poked holes in the game. Let's not forget, Amanda has losses.
But is it because she doesn't want to go down to that weight? Or is it because...
No, I think because... No, so there wasn't a specific reason. She's basically said that she's beat her twice. Which, listen, hey, all day. But here's the thing. How many times have we not seen in UFC, these fighters come back and, as Usman just did, start lapping people, right? If you are the GOAT and you see this person has been so dominant, showcase why you are the GOAT and go out there and don't be scared of fighting whoever's out there. So step up.
First, let's because I like this talk about Nunes versus Shevchenko, but first let's give the due that it's supposed to be done, and let's talk about the Shevchenko fight that she just had. The one where she defended her belt from 261. And I think, like you said, she definitely demonstrated her eliteness in every aspect of the sport. You know, they were talking about her not being able to wrestle or not being able to take it to the ground with this woman, and that's exactly where she went, and that's where she. Well, that was what the talk was about. Like she was saying, she just lets her body take over and do whatever. But there was talk that she couldn't compete with this chick in certain aspects of the match, and she went out and dominated.
Jessica Andrade is a champ, you know. So I think a lot of the talk was Jessica Andrade is a bad woman, and you know, to go out there and say, hey, you know, they put her up against Joanna. You know, Joanna was the boogie woman. You're like, Joanna is a bad fighter. So for every person that they put in front of her, it's not like no regular Joe Schmo. They put the best of the best against her. And Jessica Andrade was, I mean, she's game ready, battle tested, you know? So I thought that's why everybody, when they were talking about this fight, they're like, hey, you know, you had a couple of these girls that you really just destroyed. You're not going to do that to Jessica. I think that's what they were trying to say. Like, this is going to be a real bad one. You know, and she just Scotty Dividend laid it out. Like,
but yo, even Taco, remember we were talking about it before. I was like, bro, this is the one match that I know I'm super clear about, that Shevchenko is just gonna like really show us why she's champion, and then she really fucking did that. I believe in her so much. She's like fucking
me too. Me too.
I think I got a crush
she's
on
one
her,
of my favorite. She's one of my favorite. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Me too. She's one of my favorite fighters. I love, like, every time she gets on the card, I have to watch.
True. And then I think the last thing that we could add on that is that, you know, Nunes did face her twice and beat her twice. Shevchenko has 3 losses in the UFC, and both came to Emmanuel Nunes already, both in 2016 and 2017. So it's really hard. Shevchenko's going to need to win more than once in order for her to go ahead of Nunes.
I think if Shevchenko and Amanda Nunes fought now, I think Shevchenko,
hands down,
I think she would win.
I mean,
I agree. And I think a lot of people think that. A lot of people think that.
Just watching her fight yesterday.
Problem, bro. Nunes
no,
is
so you need to go. Have you seen
right
the
now.
fight, Taco? You go back and watch those fights, okay? And listen, they were bad. There were some good fights, but you go back and watch that fight, and Valentina won the fight.
Did they go to the decision twice?
Both went to decisions, and both decisions were decided for Nunes.
They got to bring that back. They got to bring that back. And I think Valentina, like Scotty Diven said, honestly, straight up, will elevate past Amanda, because you can't give me like, okay, I'm gonna ask you this question.
But there's no way Amanda can win.
Max Holloway, right? Lost against who's Aussie champion right now in his division. Damn, his name escapes me, because that's how much I don't think he's gonna last that long being champ. And that's no disrespect to the champ, but I'm just saying. Alexander Volkanovski, you know what I'm saying, right? So I'm sorry, bro. You won those 2 fights, but you didn't put exclamation points on those fights to be champ. Now, listen, Max is, bro, his fights have been.
So what are you saying here? That Shevchenko's better than Nunes, and they just haven't fought in a while, and that's why? Is that what you're saying?
I thought, my opinion is yes. My opinion is Shevchenko is better than Nunes, and she would be her today. That's my point.
I think that. I think it will be a great fight. Let's put it at that. I think it'll be I think Amanda Nunes' hardest fight.
Yeah, I agree.
And
I mean, Amanda comes in with those right overhand hooks. Don't get me wrong; she's coming in with those right overhand hooks, ready to knock people down. But I'm sorry, Valentina is the bullet for a reason, bro. Sorry. Yeah,
and I think the question is there anyone else? Is there anyone else in the women's division that can compete with these two, or are they the only 2 titans left that anyone wants to really see fight in the women's division?
Like, I don't know how much further you're getting into it, but I mean, we can't escape with what this Thug Rose just did, right? I think, sleeping Wei Li like she did, recapturing her title. She does need to. I think she needs to defend the title a couple more times to really like put herself in the conversation of elite status, because she's lost to just too quickly the belt last time.
Sure.
So I think Rose, hey bro, give her a couple more.
But I'm saying like right now, right now, because to me right now the fight is to make it Shevchenko versus Nunes if you can make it 100%. In that women's division. But other than that, who else is there right now off the top of your head?
I'm giving you right now.
I'm saying, I'm not.
You need to make the rematch.
You do. For sure.
I think that's the first thing up. I definitely agree.
That's the first bill right there.
And then I think that's a perfect parlay into what we actually saw happen.
I hate to see this one too.
Oh,
My tick down the
slept.
Oof.
Doug Rose.
Oof.
What a kick though, man.
And Doug Rose came out and did her thing.
Yo, that kick was
DC with the Thug Rose. Man, I wish you had that audio clip ready with that Thug Rose.
Gotta give her
I was
props.
gonna do it. I don't think I heard him say it like that.
Like, yeah, and I think the cool thing about this is that it had all the undertones. She came out and made those comments and backtrack because she overall is a good person. I think that her comments just came off in a wrong way because of the way it's perceived
What
from
was
her perspective.
I missed that one. What was her comment?
It was mainly dealing with the fact that the Wei Li was coming from communist China. She had dealt with some communist regimes in her past, and saying that those type of regimes always fail and stuff like that. It was a very political thing. Going back to it, right? And again, she said, "I'm not here to do political stuff. I'm here. This person's a good person. We're doing that."
Yeah.
And she tried to steer away from it. And I think that's also part of the reason why she was so emotional afterwards, because she did said that
wasn't the reason, bro. That was
I'm not saying the only reason, but it's part of it. It was a big emotional fight for her. This was an emotional fight for her, and she delivered. And I think that like you said, she defended her belt, and it'll be interesting to see where she goes from here. I think the rematch is what everyone wants to see next.
She didn't defend this one. She really won that title.
Right.
So I think that yeah, she's super emotional. She's got a great story. I think that, for people who kind of doubt themselves, one of the big things I liked about how she came into that fight was literally telling herself, "I'm the best." I was trying to read her lips at first, and I didn't really know what she was saying, but she was just so mentally trying to make sure she readied herself about why she's the best. And she's just, I think she's humble, she's down to earth, at least that's what she portrays. I've never met her, right? But I'm just saying in general, she gives off that aura that I love about a fighter. And I love when I see stories like that about people who are just determined to be the best, even though they may have some struggles in their life and everything. I remember one of the things about her in the Conor McGregor, the bust thing, some that really traumatized her, and I'm sure it would have anybody, But I think she's gone through a lot to recapture the title. I think it elevates her game to have knocked Wei Li out like that in such a dominant fashion.
Yeah, but they definitely got to run that back because
they do.
I
want to see another one of that. For real.
They gotta give her props for that kick, man. That shit was stupid.
Yeah. No, they're gonna run it back. I agree.
He came in with a bang.
Yeah,
and I think that one thing this fight did, and I think especially because it did take those political tones, is she became a crowd darling, especially down there in Florida, where that crowd was very receptive to her and they were very supportive and behind her. And I think it'll be interesting to see where she goes and what kind of support she continues to maintain, because she definitely does seem to be a fan favorite, and a lot of people are pulling for her. So it's good to see where she goes, and hopefully these two girls get a rematch, and we get to see more than 2 rounds of fighting. I was hoping that one would go a little bit far. I was expecting that to be I think
it ended beautifully. I think it ended beautifully. I didn't want to see no more rounds. It was a great fight.
I'll tell you right now, if they have a rematch and Thug Rose wins in a fight, a real fight, I'll be a Thug Rose fan, and
here's the thing. I remember these chants, dividends. I remember these chants not from you, but from the UFC fans talking about when she beat Joanna, and a lot of people were like, yeah, okay, this was lucky. This wasn't really she's, she doesn't portray this bad woman. But I'm gonna tell you right now, Thug Rose is a bad woman. So I'm just run it back. Run it back. But I'll tell you right now, Thug Rose is up here, and Wei Li for me down here.
And wasn't Wei Li though coming on a massive winning streak where Wei Li was just dominating, right?
We can't. This is what I don't want to do. I don't want people to start saying that Woodley is not good. Like,
Oh no. Yeah.
oh, I think she's still better. I think she's still, and I didn't
I
want to say
mean,
we was bringing the Rose up.
Put a little pain in that Thug Rose balloon.
Hey, you gotta lay the you got
For the rematch, let's do a personal bet. It's like, nah.
Like, yo, Thug Rose
We
don't
gotta-
need no promoter.
listen.
Let's get Dave on the case. He got this going. Thug
Hey, I'm just
Rose.
saying, you right now they're in the best of one. Right now, we got one above you. You know what I'm saying? So if you wait,
right.
you got to
You're
go out there and beat the champ if you want to recapture that title. So no, I'm running back. I agree with Chiki. He's Scotty dividends all day. Got a lot of great points. She's a great fighter, and I think that she deserves a rematch to see. You know, as dominant as she's shown in her last fights, Woodley has been a dominant fighter, but Rose. So
You know, she was carrying China on her back. You know,
she
and
was for sure.
like that, and then have to go back home and face that for God knows how long until the rematch. Like, I know she's about it. Like,
Oh, and she was getting showered
agree.
with the blues in that ring.
in the car, punching the air.
Yeah. Now, and in the last two fights with the men going, you know, we saw some interesting things. I think the middleweight bout between Weidman and Hall was one of the most gruesome and horrific things that I've seen in a while.
Don't you dare play that clip.
But
It's gonna don't play it.
We're gonna have a quick little play. Avert your eyes if you're.
No. Listen, how you gonna play that clip, bro? Then they're gonna censor out the video out here. I mean, now they're gonna censor in the video, bro. Come on. Do you not know the YouTube algorithm? Like, damn.
I mean, we're 26 minutes in. If they're with us this long, they deserve to see it.
We've been dropping gems, you know, like, listen, now you gotta you gotta do a little graphic with the explicit content in the front. Taco hasn't been doing this too long. Excuse them, fans. You know what I'm saying? Like,
damn, I didn't realize Dave was gonna get so horrific on this. But as we keep the train moving,
the white man
as we saw,
you could have talked about it, not played the clip, baby. Come on, man. It was all over the news. But go ahead.
I feel so bad. I feel so bad.
Me too, man. Being from Strong Island all day, man, I really wanted to see him come back after that last fight. I was a little disappointed in seeing his cardio didn't look like his endurance was there. So I was really looking forward to seeing this fight. I mean, I put it on my ticket, betting wise. Like, I really thought he had a lot to gain from a win with Uriah. I didn't think that that it was as even in the sense of the betting odds as it should have been. I think Uriah should have been a little bit more of a favorite because of what he's shown recently. But yeah, man, I feel bad for Weidman.
And it sucks.
Yeah, so I hope it's not a career-ending thing either.
And I think the most bugged out thing is that on the video that we did you know, predicting it, I had actually spoken to Cheeky about that because I remember the Weidman versus Silva fight, and I was like, you know, that's really when I felt like Long Island started really falling in love with MMA to like a big explosion. Like there was another wave of MMA love on Long Island, and to see him go down the same way that Silva went down versus him is just crazy. Like the irony of it is
exactly.
You know what I mean?
But what are the chances?
Right. I believe that it was Ben Askren who had put out the tweet that said, in the history of the UFC, only 3 fighters have endured an injury like this, and 2 of the instances where this type of injury went down involved Chris Weidman. 1 being him with Silva, and 2 being this fight that happened with Uriah Hall, where, you know, they did go down with this catastrophic leg injury, and you know, Conor McGregor actually did have a point on it, and I'll bring that up real quick. He was saying that he had to have a load of microfractures in the leg for it to snap because of the placement. I know we were talking about that, and we're not quite, you know, professionals.
He said, if you look on there, he said possibly, right? I feel like you bringing up all this Conor nonsense. I like Conor. I'm just saying.
Well, no, I'm saying we don't know, but
one of the best in the sense of promoting. I'm not taking Conor McGregor's thought process behind what medically happened to Weidman. If you look at what happened with that Weidman kick, since you guys just saw it here, you don't have to go anywhere else. You know what I'm saying? You just saw it live. Just pause the video. Dividends is catching the shots. I'm giving TDS stock over there, Mr. Talented, giving them all those. Anyways, I mean,
yeah, if
just
you
go
want,
back,
I'll replay it so we
pause
can
the
look at
video.
the pinpoint reaction of where it went down.
It, bro. Listen,
Hold on, I have it loaded up right now.
So when you pause it, it looks like exactly. It looks like he kicked him and kind of semi-checked that.
If you look away, how could you see it?
Straight on, you know, like he kicked him and straight on with all that power. It's only one thing for it to happen, you know, like it's honestly with that much intensity.
Whoever paid for the pay-per-view got their money's worth.
They did for sure. I agree. I hope he comes back from that. He's 36. He didn't have much left. This was really like his last run. So, you know, I don't know that he comes back for more like anymore for title run. I think he comes back for I made it back, fought 1 or 2 fights, I'm done. Unless Uriah goes out there and shows something and ends up winning a belt and then he ends up saying, give Weidman that run back, and it's a Cinderella story. And, you know, Weidman ends maybe, you know, who knows? I think that could be a real beautiful story right there, too.
Well, he can come back, you know, so that'll be dope.
That would be dope.
On the last part of that, I think the way Uriah Hall had his post-fight, you know, interview was very humble and respectful of Weidman. You know, I think those two guys have mutual, you know, even though, you know, they're fighters, I don't think they hold any animosity. And I think it was cool that he said, you know, if he's healthy and able to run it back, I owe that man a fight. And, you know, he's willing to fight.
He does.
Yep.
I think that's the right thing to do. It's kind of like Usman we were talking before, like, you know.
But no, who else had that? It was Aljamain. Like Aljamain recently had that. And
don't talk to me about Aljamain. Don't talk to me about Aljamain, bro. Aljamain going out there, he's a paper champion. I'm sorry. Peter Yan is the champ, if you ask me, because my man going out and have surgeries, he's pulling the Tyron moves, and that's a sucker move, bro. He's being a sucker. I'm just telling you right now, you can't go out there demanding. You know what I'm saying? You can't go out there demanding title fight. You want all the you want Triple C all of a sudden? Nah, bro. Show me something.
We could talk.
Show me something. Yeah, bro.
See, this is what I do. I trigger people, bro.
That's a video for another day because
that's not where I wanted to go with this. That's what I'm saying.
He needs to stop talking. He needs to stop talking. Scotty Dividends with me. He knows.
Not be on nobody right now.
I agree. And listen, I do agree with Chael Sonnen with this element of Chael. Chael was saying, like, if you don't have these type of events where, like, the title can be taken away, what's to stop a champion from who's losing to do something like that? So it does, like, it means something when you do something like that. You know there are consequences. I get it. I'm not saying that there's no consequences. But Aljo needed to, as a paper champion, go out there and be like, I need to win this title. And if I'm a champ, Peter Yan, you lucky. I might have been down. You might have had 3. Last round is my round. What you talking about, bro? You didn't get the 4th. You didn't get the 5th. That's my round. So if you're going to go out there, that's how I think you would elevate your game and the fan base and be like, I don't know.
Even all I wanted to say was that
the dominance of that fight.
See, all I wanted to say was that Hall was doing that, unlike Joe, but I didn't mean to like open this whole can of worms. Like Aljo was talking about taking fights for other people.
Fans, right?
I got you triggered. I get it.
Hey, I'm sorry. Leave that. Hey, Sky Dividends coming back on that one. We're gonna run that convo back.
Oh, facts. That's one that needs to be had because that was an interesting fight, and we have to have some highlights.
Tag Aljo if you want on that. He clearly responds. Sucker responded to one of my tweets trying to play all games over here.
Yep.
You know,
he knows Hammer. Him and Hammer are actually cool.
Sandhagen
what's up. Listen,
Sandhagen's gonna fuck him up, so it's gonna be.
He's taking receipts, bro. He's watching this. You know, he's watching.
Hey.
Let's round this out and talk about the first fight on the card. But I think one of the most interesting ways that you could start it off because this fight was really good.
Real quick. I will say though, when we were talking about the Aljo thing, if you remember for the lead up to that Peter fight, I was giving him props. I really thought he was going to go out there and do a really great job. And I'm not saying that he's not a great fighter. Aljo he's a great fighter, but I think he's just making the wrong moves in the way that he's going about as a paper champion to go out there talking like he's a champ. All right, I had to fix that.
And he did originally throw his belt on the ground like he didn't want it because he knew he didn't earn
That's
it.
the right move. That was the right move.
He's enjoying it now. But again, like you said, that's
that
for
one
neither
AI.
here nor there. But for right now, we have Crook versus
What'd you
Smith,
say? What'd you say?
and just a little warning right here. These images may be a little graphic for squeamish audiences, like my friend Dave over here. And here we go. And here we go.
This one's all right.
Oof.
Man, that's just tough, though. Tough as news,
That
though.
leg went up on a Lego.
Yeah, bro. This one dead on him. I mean, for sure.
And I think that's the point of the whole video is that he had a massive kick that or injury that just crippled him, and this man just kept kept fighting, and he immediately went for the takedown to try to like defend himself and keep himself in the fight. But I mean, Mr. Dividends over here had called it and said that Smith had been coming on a little bit of a losing streak, and that he needed to do something in order to show himself and get this win, and that by some way he was going to pull it out. And I was like, well, look at this guy. He has this and that. And he's like, I'm telling you, yeah.
Jabs at the beginning, like, you know what I'm saying? They were coming out real nice, clean, crisp, catching them too. And Jimmy Cruz, no joke too. So, I mean, Anthony Smith showed up.
Yeah, and I think the best part was too is that you were saying he was on a losing streak, and despite that, you were like, he's due. And I think that's one of the cool things about when you make your bets and when you look at what you're betting. You talk to me a lot about you look at the trends and you see what's been going on. You're like, well, this guy's been on a losing streak, but he's really not that bad. So he's kind of a guy in this situation where it's set up for him to pull one out or have this opportunity to win.
I look for every dog who has its day, who's supposed to have its day.
Yep. I mean, that's a great analysis. That's a great analysis by Scotty Divins over there. And no, really saying, Anthony Smith was. I'm a big fan of his. I like him a lot. I think he's a great fighter. He's more than just a journeyman with as big as his record is and everything. I still think he's one of the top guys. He ran into a couple trains after losing to Jones and everything, but I think he still deserves to be right up there in the top. I think he has gotten better because that jab he was throwing out there, that was a dangerous jab. So, I like that fight. It was of course it's sad it ended on just an injury like that. Crazy card, just a crazy card, man.
Yep, from top to bottom, wild.
Top to bottom.
And I gotta say this: Jimmy Crute to me looked like a top level prospect. The way he was like fighting and the way he was coming from that injury.
I like it
because to me it wasn't just so much that he got hurt.
I like him.
It's like when he hurt, did you see how he immediately went for that takedown in self-preservation mode and said, "Hey, I can't stand right now. Let's go straight to the ground. Let me do what I can." And he kept going. And to me, especially seeing that of a young fighter like this, he's someone that coming forward, I think has a bright future. And that I'm actually going to watch him his next fights with like, okay, this kid has some real, like, not only does he have the heart of the champion.
Fight IQ?
Yeah, but his fight IQ is definitely top notch. And in the fight game, that can take you a long way.
I agree. That's a great point.
And, I think this was a great recap. We're going to be doing this for all, especially the big pay-per-view events. We'll be coming before time with some prediction videos, some parlay bets, so you guys can win your bets, and then we'll give you the recap afterwards, so you can see, how much money we won, where we went wrong, what's going on, and set the table. I'm going to end it with one question for both of these guys before we wrap out and have our favorite theme song playing. But the first question I have, and I want to start with you, Scotty Dividends. Do you think Francis Ngannou and Jon Jones fight this year?
Oh. He was going to drop me with this. I knew it.
That was such a good question, man. This guy just has the best question, man. It just catches me off guard, bro, and has me thinking, bro. But no, that shit better happen this time.
Yes. Exclamation point on that statement, and I'm not even gonna.
That would be a gift.
I'm gonna say no. I think that Ngannou takes another deal, and they end up fighting in the beginning of 2022 when Jon Jones lowers his asking price, which we have no clue what it is, but apparently Dana White is unwilling to meet you.
See, so you just automatically immediately taking Dana's word for whatever he's asking for, right? You know what? We could be here for days, so I'm not even gonna go there.
Bro,
I'm gonna just tell you what's gonna happen, and when it does, my boy Johnny Bones is gonna really put an exclamation point on why he is the GOAT. And yeah, man, I'm sorry, people like you, doubters gonna put him to sleep, and I don't want to hear nothing.
Hey guys, something. When was Jon Jones' last fight? Like his
last like 20 like last when, like 2019?
It was a minute ago. It was a minute ago.
Against Reyes? No, it wasn't against Reyes, right?
I mean, didn't he almost lose that one too? Didn't he almost lose
against Reyes? It was against Reyes.
It was?
It was against Reyes. Yeah.
Mm.
You trying to another one is trying to throw some jabs. I got you.
I guess what I'll end it with one thing. Why does John?
I'm new to UFC. Like I just started watching it for maybe 2 years. So
so you might not have seen him fight ever.
It's him. So I only had last 2 years, the reign of the last 2 years, because what I started betting on everything. So as soon as I started,
and you see, this is why I can appreciate Scotty Dividend's statement right here, big time, because you know what the big thing about people who've been watching UFC, like watching Jones, like I like in the sport of UFC, I've been watching Jones, like he's been my favorite fighter for a long time. So I've seen a lot of his dominance, and then yes, I agree. His last two fights weren't as dominant, and a lot of people who are like newer to the game, I mad respect that, like straight up putting it out there, like, hey, another one, you got to show me something to really show why so many people might call you the GOAT. I do like
it, because I don't deny that he's great, but everyone says that he's the GOAT and that no one can touch him.
I do.
I see it.
Yeah,
and then all right. No, let's end the Jon Jones talk for the other video. Jon Jones gonna have his own video because he's GOAT status. We agree.
You can't cut that off like that. You gotta let Scotty finish his thought, man. That was a good.
I cut him off. My bad, yeah.
That's all good. No, I just like that. That was, to me, I thought that was a great statement though, because it's true. I agree with you, and everything about what you said about that.
To the new fans, that he's the GOAT still.
Definitely. Yeah.
Take down Francis Ngannou, even though Stipe did it, and I still think Stipe is the man for that. I didn't think that was ever gonna go down, and this guy Stipe.
Yep. Yeah, I love Stipe, man. I love Stipe. Stipe is man. But yeah, I agree.
Yep.
Good old.
All right. So last question. All right, and this is a yes or no question.
Yeah, GOAT status is real. I'm just saying.
Last question, and we're out of here. All right. Does this happen? Are we going to see either Tyron Woodley or Daniel Cormier fight Jake Paul? Yes or no answers? Yes or no answers?
I mean,
yes, no.
It can't be DC. DC's too big. Like they're not the commission. Nobody's going to sanction that. You know, I mean, it's a catch weight, huh? Yeah, Woodley. Jake Paul don't want that smoke. He don't want that smoke with somebody who's got hands like Tyron. Tyron's got hands, bro. I mean, he's not a boxer, but I'm gonna tell you right now, Tyron's got hands. And Jake Paul is a YouTube star and all that, and yeah, he got 2 or 3 little wins on his belt, so he's out here running around talking all this smash. But he's not gonna fight. He's picking and choosing who he wants to fight. Ben Askren, yes, okay. Ben Askren is an Olympic wrestling champion and was an MMA champion, and in one championship. But you are not fighting anybody with hands, bro. Don't come in here acting like you're knocking out professional boxers with boxing skills. You fight a striker. You know what? Put Ruthless Bobby in there. Yo, straight up, Robbie Lawler will smash you. Like, ask for these guys that have hands. So that's as Khabib would say, my humble opinion.
And on that note, people, I got Scotty Dividends here.
What do you think on that one? You think Jake Paul same thing with the Jake Paul situation? You think the same thing? You think that happens?
I think that when they were backstage, and I think Jake Paul's boxing buddy was talking mad shit to Woodley.
Yeah.
Would fight that guy, or Woodley might fight Paul, but I think Woodley should.
Woodley's not gonna fight he already said if he's gonna fight the other guy.
Taco, hold up, let me finish. I couldn't hear him.
Oh no, I just think that he should fight Jake Paul's boy, and then I think somebody else should fight. I don't think Daniel Cormier should fight Jake Paul. I think that would be like Daniel Cormier is a fucking champion. I don't want him to stoop down.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I do want somebody else that has been very scrubby in the UFC to go down and handle that.
All day.
And I'm saying, do the UFC a favor, clean that up real quick, and then come back, maybe get a title shot in another year. So,
you know what I'm saying? Hey.
Well, Woodley had an interview with Ariel Helwani where he was actually talking about, Jake Paul, what he wanted to do and what was going on. And, they were bringing it up. He already said it. If he's going to fight Jake Paul's friend, it has to be in a UFC setting because he literally said he wants to break his face.
Yeah,
he said he will not fight him in anything where he can't use his elbows, use his kicks, and really, like, he just does not like that guy. Like, it's more of a personal thing. And Tyron Woodley went very street in that, and he was saying that people know where he comes from, and that's what he does for like a living. And I've never seen Woodley be so serious because we've seen him in a couple of his last fights, and he didn't look like he was quite like Woodley. This guy was angry. He was pissed. He felt disrespected, and I don't think that he would take that fight with that guy unless it's in MMA, so he could literally break his will. Now, Jake Paul, he said he's fighting a boxing match, but his contract with the UFC might be up. We don't know exactly what's going on with that.
Yeah,
and, Woodley,
Dana's
done.
Yeah, Dana's been wanting to get rid of him for a minute.
Might be what happens.
Yeah, I think hopefully it does.
I'd love to see him take twice for it.
Yep, I think that Woodley might be the one that actually gets it, and I think he would make everyone so happy if he could just go out there and just hit him with that, Usman power. You know what I mean? Let that spit go flying, make him a meme. But on that note, like I said, we got Scotty Dividends on here delivering the power moves and betting. We got Electric Dave providing his great analysis, Jon Jones Fellowship, UFC acumen. Okay, and we got me, the talented Mr. Katako, trying to just pilot the ship and get us home. So I hope you guys have a wonderful time, and until next time, we're out. Peace.
Peace.
Hey, David and Taco, they bring the heat. All about UFC, way more than a fantasy. Let's see who going toe to toe. Throw down on the mat, check the replay, run it back. We gotta check the stats. Hey, do this every day. We ain't come to play. This is sports talk, and we love talking MMA. Everything fantasy sports. Dopest show that I know. With Electric Dave and talented Mr. Taco. Let's go. Hey, G.